We'll do it.
All right, so David, for those who don't know you, would you like to start by introducing yourself a little bit, please?
Hello, I am David Willis. I am a niche internet celebrity, what they call. I talk about rockets on my Twitter account and on my YouTube channel. And I'm a big fan of the SLS rocket. It's one of my favorite rockets. Ares 1X is also one of my favorite. I like that one too. But I'm mainly known for SLS. I'm fairly knowledgeable on the SLS rocket, and I talk about it a lot anywhere I can.
Yeah, you're known very, very popular for SLS's #1 fan. Tell us a little bit about why you are interested in SLS and why you are known as #1 fan.
So I like SLS because I was born far too late to see the Saturn V, and I was far too young to appreciate the space shuttle while it was still flying. So to me, SLS seems almost like I get to witness both of those again at the same time without actually seeing them. So it's kind of like it's like a second chance, to see these
Yeah,
things, which is why I'm absolutely like a huge fan of SLS because I love NASA. NASA is like they're awesome. They went to the moon. So seeing their next rocket being a combination of their two previous rockets is just like, I love that. I love it. And yeah.
yeah, it's pretty awesome to see that they're reusing, trying to reuse flown hardware, because some of these RS-25s I'm pretty sure have been refurbished from space shuttle missions.
Oh yeah. So there's 16 RS-25 engines. 14 of those are from previous shuttle missions. And the two that aren't were supposed to fly on shuttle missions, if I remember correctly, but just never got the chance to. So, and they've been test fired in the shuttle program before SLS. So all 16 are part of the shuttle program, and 14 have flown on the shuttle of the original 16 engines.
Yeah, so it's pretty impressive because we all thought that flown hardware from shuttles would not be flown again, because obviously the aim wasn't for the engines necessarily to be reusable, but the actual vehicle hardware itself, so the shuttles themselves. Now, seeing these 14 out of 16 engines being refurbished and reflown, I think is pretty cool, because not only is it showing that engines can be reused, but it's showing that entire hardware can be reused. And the combination of the space shuttle, so you've got side boosters that are similar to the flown shuttle hardware. Then you've got
not just similar. They're actually flown from the shuttle. All those segments, all these, all of them flew on the space shuttle.
Oh wow, I didn't know that bit.
Actually, I think there's like one or two segments that are new, but other than that, all of them flew on the shuttle, I think.
Right.
And there's even one that was on an Ares 1 first stage test static fire.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and Ares 1X was meant to be the new era of human space flight.
Obviously, look at how cool it is. It's it was meant
rocket. To be, yeah. It was meant to be the SSTO that would get us back to low Earth orbit destinations. Yet, however, it was unsuccessful. And then obviously that ended, and now we have the CCP. And with SLS, we have the huge Artemis Accord. So we have SpaceX getting involved here. So they're providing NASA with the HLS lander, and that will be used in accord with Artemis missions, as I believe SLS will fly to Gateway to carry the humans to Gateway, and then from there they'll egress to the HLS lander, which will get them to the surface of the moon, if I remember correctly.
Correct. That is, as far as I know, that's what the mission plan is.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the Orion capsule, which has been tested over and over again. I think Orion's probably one of the most reliable crew capsules ever.
Surely it would have to be. It's one and only. It's only flown one time, but its one flight was a complete success, and
Yeah.
all the tests for the vehicle have also been successes as well. Um, so it's going to be a very reliable vehicle. Yes.
Yeah, because Orion flew on Delta IV Heavy as an OFT, I believe. And that was hugely successful.
Technically, it's EFT.
EFT.
Starship and Starliner. It's confusing because Starship and Starliner are both going to have OFTs, but
Right.
Orion had an exploration flight test, not an orbital flight test.
Right. Okay. But yeah, that was hugely successful, and so with that, they went straight to testing it and ready for Artemis missions. And now, obviously, it's with Artemis 1, it gets its full flight test, which is going to be extremely exciting to see. We get to see the use of 39B after so many years. And sadly, yes, SLS has had its delays with the rollout, because obviously you had that engine problem. And then you had just wanted to conduct more tests in the VAB, but it's really exciting.
Oh yeah.
So tell us, David, what got you so interested in SLS, and what do you think the future holds with SLS?
I can tell you exactly what it is. So actually, it just happened with Artemis 2. NASA's core stage for the SLS rocket, it comes in 5 parts. You have this forward skirt right below the launch vehicle stage chapter, liquid oxygen tank, the inner tank, the hydrogen tank, and the engine section. Now, these 3 parts up here, the forward skirt, LOX tank, and intertank, they all get put together before the rest of the core stage does in what's called the forward join. Now, before SLS for Artemis 1 had its forward join, I actually wasn't a fan of the rocket. I wouldn't say I was a hater of the rocket or anything, but I just didn't really care much about it because I was like, oh, it's just a paper rocket. It's never going to fly. Who cares? But then I saw them actually put the pieces together for the forward join, and I was thinking to myself, hold on, this isn't a paper rocket. This is a real rocket that they're actually putting together. And that's when my opinion changed for the better on the SLS rocket. And they've just completed the forward join for Artemis 2 as we speak. And they're actually getting ready to join that forward join with the liquid hydrogen tank very soon.
Yeah, it's looking more and more likely. And with SLS now getting us back to the moon, it's going to be something to keep an eye on for everyone. I mean, the last time we had a moon landing was over 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think for some people it will be reminiscing about those moon landings, and I think a lot of it will get the hype up for those people who were here to see the moon landings. So I think it's going to be really exciting for those who haven't seen a moon landing. This is going to be the first time some people have ever seen a moon landing, and it will be broadcast live on television, YouTube, etc.
Oh yeah.
So that's something to look forward to, going in the steps of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and the other astronauts who were able to step foot on the moon. So I think it's really exciting for the future. And you've done a lot of work on Twitter to try and educate people about SLS and why Artemis is so important to people. So would you like to explain a little bit about
that? In recent times, I've moved away from really all on Twitter. I kind of do most of the education work on YouTube because it's easier to say what I want to say because it doesn't have a character limit. But before then, I would pretty much on Twitter, I would just spend most of my time creating these little infographics. I did one recently. It was a little dollar of how much the U.S. government gets versus how much SLS gets. That's a recent one. But before, like before I was at, what's the word? I'll call it unjustly because I did get back, obviously. Before I was unjustly suspended from Twitter for something that was completely out of my control. I did these little infographics a lot. Where I would post like because people would say, "Oh, SLS is just Aries 5." So I'd make up a little infographics showing the core stage of the Aries 5 compared to the core stage of the SLS, and be like, "Oh, no, this is different here. This is different here. This is different here." I do that for all sorts of things, like the cost of SLS, the size of SLS, how big, where. I do that for. I did a lot of infographics, and I think you'll still see some of them just floating around Twitter. But that was my primary method of educating people on SLS. I haven't done as many recently because I've been switching over to YouTube, but
Yeah.
that is what I did prior to getting kicked off Twitter. But when I got back to Twitter, I haven't had the chance to do it as much as I would like.
Yeah, I think there's a lot people can learn from you, David.
Thank you.
I know there's still a lot of people that say, "Oh yeah, Artemis has no meaning, has no purpose," and I think those people underestimate the value of human spaceflight and going back to the moon, because a lot of people don't believe of a lunar base and even exploration of Mars. They believe it's unnecessary and we should solve problems here on Earth. And to that, I say personally, to solve problems on Earth, we need to explore what we have on the moon and beyond, because ultimately that data could help us here on Earth. And obviously, those people who are on the International Space Station right now, most experiments cannot be done in the gravity we have here on Earth, hence why we have an International Space Station, because in microgravity, you get a lot of chance to do experiments you cannot do here on Earth. And so with that, human spaceflight is a crucial need for life existence here on Earth. And so that's why I believe there's a lot of things that people can learn from you. And I know you've been trying to teach that. And so
thank you.
It's huge respect to you for doing that and to standing up to those people. So what I'll do as well is additionally, I'll leave your link to your Twitter and your YouTube in the description of the video.
Thank you.
And I think I look forward to what you publish in the future. And please do more infographics, because I absolutely love them.
I love them too. I just haven't had the time to make as many.
Yeah.
I will continue making them.
And before we go, David, what is your most look forward to mission this year?
This year, huh? That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I wonder what it could be.
Artemis 1. And you
absolutely
any more delays? Big question.
Oh, of course. Okay, delays and rocketry are more certain than death and taxes. Okay, these things are massive tanks of highly flammable liquids and explosive devices. This little rocket in the VAB out there is probably, if it went off, it could probably be about a megaton explosion. So NASA is going to do everything in their power to make sure it does not explode in a 1 megaton explosion. So if it has to be delayed to test it more, to ensure it will work, it's going to get delayed. That's just how it is. That's how it is with all rockets. You're not going to launch a rocket until you think it's as ready as it can be.
Exactly.
Unless you can afford a failure and you want to learn from your failure, then you can let it explode. But with SLS, they cannot afford for it to fail, so it will continue to be delayed. But in the context of just Artemis 1, I can't really see any delays of huge magnitude, because it's already, the next test that's coming up, the final test, is the wet dress rehearsal. And it's already done a wet dress rehearsal for the green run. And it did that one. It did the wet dress rehearsal flawlessly on the second try, I think. First try had issues with the temperature of the liquid oxygen, but the second try went perfectly, and it was fully fueled for both hot fires. So it's really just an integrated system that they've got to work with now. And so I don't believe there'll still probably be delays.
Yeah,
because that's just the nature of how things go. They're going to find that, oh, this little pipe doesn't line up, blah, 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 blah. So there's going to be delays, but I don't think it's going to be any more big delays.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I think if anything, it will be the wet dress rehearsal. So they roll it out, they'll do a wet dress rehearsal and say, oh, right, we found some issues. We need to roll back to the VAB and sort it. Or it will be a case of wet dress rehearsal, everything's fine, right, let's launch.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to roll it back to the VAB anyway, so they're probably going to get as much testing done at the pad while they can before they have to roll it back to the VAB.
Yeah. And so obviously the use of 39B again is going to be really exciting to see. So
fun fact, the last rocket to fly from 39B before SLS is this one.
Aries
1X.
Yeah, that's right.
So it goes Saturn 1B, Space Shuttle, Aries 1X, SLS.
Yep, only 4 rockets have been able to use it now.
I think though, well, no, because Apollo 10 launched from B, I think, right?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it did. I think it was Apollo 10 because I think I remember it was the only Saturn V to ever fly from Pad B, if I remember correctly. But all the Saturn 1Bs that flew from Launch Complex 39 did fly from 39B. So it was Saturn V with Apollo 10, Saturn 1B. So fun fact, this will be the first launch to the moon from Pad B since Apollo 10.
Yes.
First and only.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. I did not know that. Thank you.
No problem.
And again, see, I'm learning from you. And so will everyone else. So people, if you do not already, please go and follow David Willis on Twitter at the Primal Dino. And again, on his YouTube channel, which will be linked down in the description. So thank you for joining me today, David, and I will look forward to SLS coming up soon.
No problem. Have a great day.
And you, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.